Great awakening, light lords, and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken. To know that what people call magic or witchcraft is just science of subtle energy. Okay, now what people call supernatural is not supernatural. It's actually natural. It's just a part of nature that's very subtle. Some things that we can't see. Some things you can see if you have the right type of sight to see it. Some things you can't hear because it's not in our spectrum of humanly hearing it. But if you train yourself and you unlock the genes to actually hear it, you'll be able to hear it. A lot of these things that we talk about that are quote unquote supernatural or unnatural or magical, like miracles and spells and curses and hexes and blessings, they are all actually scientific and are based on scientific principles within the natural law, like speaking things into existence. That is a form of manipulating through sound waves, through actually formulating specific sound waves and frequencies, in turn changing your reality or changing someone else's reality for that matter. So these things must be taken note of and must be taken as valid, scientific, and applicable things. Okay, these are sciences that we have been skewed away from, that we have been pushed away from and taught to fear, because they actually help us because they're actually very positive things. A lot of ancient signs and symbols and sacred geometric formations and are called the devil, or are called something lower. Basically anything evil, they try to make it evil because they don't understand it. And see, not understanding or misunderstanding is what causes ignorance, and ignorance is what causes fear. Okay, so we must actually take these things, study them, and see the science behind these things, and begin to use these things once more. Because when we were using them, the reason that they have become dormant is because there were a lot of people that were using these sciences and acts of transforming existence negatively. And so a lot of people that were doing these things positively came together and said, no, we have to stop the common use of these sciences. We have to stop this. We have to stop the giving out this sacred knowledge, this sacred natural knowledge to everyone, because if we keep doing it and these negative forces, come and try to get together and try to overthrow us, then that will create an imbalance within the universal structure, and that will create an imbalance within the world, which is what we see going on today. Which is why they all went into secret and went into hiding and kept this knowledge away from the public. Okay, these became private things that you have to go into studies. This is where colleges started from. These were called mystery schools. It all started in ancient Kemet, before Egypt, before the dynastic period in Egypt. These were called mystery schools. These are the things that Moses, Solomon, Joseph, Jacob, Jesus, all of these names, Enoch, Melchizedek, all of these different people, like Pythagoras got his knowledge from these ancient mystery schools. All of this sacred knowledge and sacred information about nature, the actual subtle energies in nature, which are numbers. Numbers are subtle energies. Like that's what creates math. Like all of this sacred, somewhat illogical knowledge is actually logical. It's just that we haven't come upon or became aware of the logic in it, and that's why people think that this stuff, this magic, or witchcraft, or manipulating your reality and manifesting things is not real, or they fear it because of some type of belief system or spirituality or culture that they have about themselves, or tradition that they go by. We must begin to look at things objectively and start looking at them as a whole, okay? We must begin to start putting all of these half-truths together. You must remember that this is a realm of illusion. This is a realm of Maya. This is a realm of This is a realm of half truths. Everything is half truth. Everything you hear, they say believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Okay. So basically, it's a trick. It's all magic. It's all magic. It's all an illusion. It's all being a trick being played upon the conscious mind through its subconscious mind and back to itself. Okay, through its own mind. The mind is just playing a trick on itself, and that's what's happening with existence. So these things like divination and using crystal balls and using candles and using different instruments in order to create certain vibrations, all of music, all of this comes from these sacred sciences. All of this comes from what people call magic. Okay, all of these things. In fact, science today has already proven that there's something called quantum entanglement, meaning one particle, which is a collapsed wave. A wave. First, I must say that a wave means that it is something that is everywhere at once and nowhere at the same time. Every place that it can be, possibly, and nowhere at the same time. So when you observe that wave, once you observe that wave, it collapses into a particle. It actually conforms to your consciousness. It conforms to what the observer actually consciously feels and knows within himself, within his or herself. So it collapses into a particle. Now, science has proven that there's something called quantum entanglement, where particles can be entangled no matter what amount of distance they are away from each other, no matter what proximity these two particles are, no matter what type of proximity these two particles have between one another, that when one particle does something, the other particle does the exact same thing at the exact same time. And this is called quantum entanglement. Okay? So we must begin to see that our thoughts, everything that we do affects everything else, because your particles, the particles that create your body are the same particles that create all the stars and everything underneath the earth, and the oceans and everything. All of these particles, all of the particles within your body and in your brain, all of the particles within your body and in your brain, they're all connected to everything else. And that's the only reason. That's the only reason that you can even experience this reality. That's the only reason. The only reason you can even experience this reality is through your brain and your heart, and everything else is connected to that for it to even perceive electromagnetic signals. So these sciences of today, or science today has finally proven that magic and praying. I mean, like these religions, like Christianity and lots of Abrahamic religions, Abrahamic religions, and Western Eastern religions, should I say? They talk a lot against witchcraft and a lot against magic and using divination and using seers and using psychics and stuff like that. But they only spoke against that after they created the mystery schools. Okay, they only spoke against this after they created the mystery schools. And you can go read this. Go get a Bible. Go get a Quran. Go get whatever religious text. And there's a specific point where people actually stopped doing this. They stopped using these specific powers, these powers that we have as human beings. They stopped using these powers publicly, okay? And then only specific people use them publicly, and that's who they call prophets or they call saviors. These were specific people who actually went through the study, who actually went through the school, or were trained from birth, to stay in tune with the natural laws and the subtle energies of themselves, to manipulate their reality around them, and know how to heal others, and know how to teach other people to heal themselves, and know how to actually manifest things into reality, okay, from their imagination, which is where the word imagination comes from, the word magic. A magi was a person back then. A magi is a person that actually uses their imagination to influence others and positively, to influence others. So go research a magi, MAGI. And that's where they get the word imagination, imagination. That's where they get that word image from. Because because in your mind's eye, your imagination, you're creating images, okay? And then those images, the more they're focused upon, the more those images are focused upon, the more that they create, the stronger their frequency, and the more frequently they move and vibrate, the stronger, the more concrete they become. The more concrete they become within reality. See, these are the secret sciences and sacred teachings that a lot of us we don't understand this at all, because we've been disconnected from nature this whole time, like thousands of years. So our families know nothing of this. Our families, they either like okay, whatever, that's not real, or they like, boy, you better not do that. Hey, you better not do that, because hey, that's some hoodoo, bro. That's evil, bro. Like, you getting some evil shit going on. But nah, it's only evil. Evil is just a misunderstanding. It's only evil when you don't understand what the hell you're doing, and you trying to do this stuff. You're attempting to perform these types of practices and rituals and manifestations when you don't know exactly what you're doing. You don't know specifically what you're doing, which is why you have to take time. You have to take your own space. You have to create a space. Take your own space, take your own time, and actually study this deeply, okay? You have to study these things objectively and very deeply and get very specific with it, okay? The devil is in the details. The devil is in the details. So once you get into the details, you done shut the devil out. Hey, when the devil is blocking you, from getting all of the understanding and all of the information and all of the nature and all of the subtle energies and all of these sacred sciences and all of the positive that you can get out of life. Okay, it's blocking you there by putting you in boxes and cubes and different shapes that trap energy. Okay, all of these sacred geometric cities are built in different types of ways to keep people at a certain mind state, to keep them on a certain vibration. Okay, a certain level. We must begin to take our space, take our time, and actually step by step, take the evil out of things, create more goodness, create more understanding, stop living against ourselves, and actually get in tune with nature, and then begin to study the subtle energies, the subtle shapes and colors and tones and numerical formations of all of these energies and frequencies and vibrations and light. You know, we got to get all of this stuff back together how it used to be. We've been piecing all of this together, you know, and it's coming together. But there's people out here like me that have to motivate and have to actually take all of this knowledge, research it for ourselves, and actually apply it into our lives. And then once we've applied it to our lives, help others, you know what I'm saying? Help others to see that and give them that power back. Take back that power that we've taken from ourselves by keeping ourselves in that lower level. Okay? These are the schools. There's no more colleges, man. People are going to college and getting out of college and still broke and have no jobs. You have to you have to begin to open your eyes, open your mind to actually see what's really going on here. Okay? You can go to school, go to college for years and come out of college and not have any jobs, and they guarantee these things? No, that's not the way it's supposed to be. You have to actually attach yourself to your highest passion, connect with nature, connect to yourself, that what your job, your work in nature. What's your work in nature? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about what if there was no societal structure and you had to live in the jungle, you had to live in the woods? What would you do? What would you like to do? What would you do? What would be your passion then? What would be your desire? Okay, we have to take all of this unnatural thinking and alchemize it, re-alchemize it into nature. Okay, all of these devices and tools that we use, everything, we have to do everything natural again. Okay, because the cycle is coming. We are bringing the cycle through our mind manipulating space-time and curving it and bending it. Okay, space-time curvature is how this reality exists. That's point blank, period. You cannot disprove this. So that's all I want to talk about today, man. Just we have to know that not to fear the unseen. Okay, faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. Okay, so once you get that evidence and you attach those facts to it, and you get that evidence, and you stop believing and start knowing, and then you apply it to your life, make it applicable, and apply the works, and you apply it to your life, and you begin to work, and then that vibration, that frequency of vibration will always come back to you. It depends on how you respond to your environment, okay, which is you. How do you respond to yourself? How do you think to yourself? How do you self-talk? Okay. Now that's all I want to say. Share and subscribe, man. I love myself. Hey, man, JAH MASHIAC. I am here to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. Okay, that's why we're here. We're here to bring the light, to bring the sun. And every time you go out and get more sunlight and eat better and better and think better and better thoughts, then you will begin to break down the devil and shun the devil away and stomp upon the devil and leave him in his tracks. Okay, on the narrow path. Okay, you will begin to see the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God and know exactly what's going on, man. It's undeniable once you get to it, man. The sunlight, it gives you codes. Everything around you will give you the codes. Everything around you will give you the answers. Just do what you need to do in the reality that you're in now, within this unnatural environment, and all of the study and all of the internet. All of the libraries and books and sacred and look up all of this sacred information and all of these divinities and all of this divination and magic and the spells and witchcraft, and study the world around you. Okay, study the world around you and your body, your world, because this is your world. All of this is interconnected. Okay, do not fear and do not shun it. Understand it. What is evil is misunderstanding, which creates ignorance, which creates fear, which creates evil. Okay? I mean, that's simple. You gotta look up, you gotta know definitions, etymology. I could keep talking for hours, but I'm getting off of here, man. I am JAH MASHIAC. I am here to live out and teach higher wisdom as an example for the collective consciousness. Share and subscribe. Peace.